As a wholesaler, are you tired of getting beat out by the competition? You know, some other wholesaler comes along and offers the seller $500 more than you, and then you lose out on the deal again. Well, on today's video, I'm gonna show you not just how to beat your competition, but how to crush your competition coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Virtual Flipper Kit with everything you need to flip houses without seeing them in person. Download it now at virtualflipperkit.com.
If you're new here, I'm Jerry Norton. I went from dead broke to millionaire flipping houses, and after doing 1,000 deals, I created this channel to help you master the art of wholesaling and flipping so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. If you've been wholesaling for any length of time, you know that it's competitive, especially during a low inventory market. In most cases, once you find a motivated seller who's looking to sell his unwanted distressed property, you aren't the only person the seller is talking to. With technology and software and easy access to data, often your competition is also talking to the same seller as you. Now, if you want to compete, that's fine. Do all of the same techniques and the same strategies other wholesalers do, which, by the way, I teach the best strategies hands down extensively here on my channel, and may the best and highest paying wholesaler win the deal. But if you want to beat all the other offers without compromising on price, you have to separate yourself from all the other wholesalers. You have to stand out above the crowd, and you have to create a competitive advantage. Let me show you how. Are you ready? Get out a piece of paper and write this down. This is profound. The best way to win the deal wholesaling is to not wholesale. They don't call me a flipping genius for nothing. What I mean is to not wholesale the same way all the other wholesalers do. Let me explain. Most wholesalers create offers that give them all of the advantage in the transaction. The contract is wholesaler friendly with terms and conditions and clauses that are highly in their favor, and that's fine. That's how I've done it for years. I've done countless videos here on my channel showing and teaching how to make sure the seller is 100% committed in writing. Meanwhile, you, the wholesaler, are protected and have plenty of ways out of the deal with zero risk. But the problem is your competition, if they're any good and they've been watching my videos, they're doing the same thing. So instead, do the opposite and educate the seller in the process. Here are 2 ways to do this. First, do not do a traditional assignment of contract. Instead, perform as the buyer and purchase the property. Now you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Jerry, I thought we were wholesaling. We are, just not using an assignment. Instead, get a contract with a seller on a good deal, fund and close and buy it, and then after you buy it, turn around and immediately resell the property to a cash buyer. This is sometimes referred to as a double closing or even a back-to-back closing. Of course, to do that, you need the money to buy the property on the first closing, but don't worry, I'll show you how to get 100% of the money, so keep watching. The thing is, by not doing an assignment, you will have a huge advantage over all the other wholesalers by differentiating yourself from the competition with your sellers. Here's how. When you're talking to a seller, say the following: Mr. Seller, I'm sure you're talking to other potential buyers about your property, as you should. That's a smart thing to do. I just want you to be aware of something when you're looking at other offers. Some buyers will tell you they're a cash buyer, but they actually don't have the cash or the means or even the intent to buy your house. Instead, what they do is they find a real cash buyer and then mark up the price and try to flip their contract. It's called an assignment of contract. And I'm different because I actually have the cash to buy your property and I can prove it. I will put in writing that our contract is not assignable. That way you know that I'm the actual buyer for your house. So my advice to you, Mr. Seller, is if you go with another offer, that's fine, but make sure they are a real, legit cash buyer. Ask them to put in writing that the contract is not assignable. Talk about unleveling the playing field. Talk about creating a competitive advantage. Now again, you can't do this unless you actually do have the cash, but like I said, I'll show you how to get 100% of the money. And if this wasn't enough to completely destroy your competition, the second thing to do is prove it by showing the seller you actually have funding to back you. Say the following: Mr. Seller, to show you I'm serious with my offer to buy your property for cash, I'll give you a verifiable proof of funds letter that shows I have the funds and the means to close and buy your house for cash. Again, if you decide to go with another offer, that's totally fine. But in addition to requesting they put in writing that the contract is not assignable, also ask that buyer to show you proof of funds. Those two things will ensure you have a legit cash buyer who can perform. Now, since most wholesalers don't have the means or the intent to close on the transaction, if you can, you will have a huge advantage. And if you've been following me lately, you know that I've been talking a lot about how there is a huge movement led by the National Association of Realtors to stop wholesalers from doing assignments and how several states are implementing regulations. As a result, I think the day is coming when doing a traditional assignment will no longer be legal. If you want to learn more about why that's happening, I'll put a link to a video in the description below where I discuss this in detail. But aside from assignments eventually being banned, as I explained on this video, being a legit cash buyer and being able to buy the property with cash and then immediately reselling it to a new cash buyer for a profit, that separates you from the competition and gives you a huge advantage when going after deals. The key is having funds to back you, and that's why I've decided to create a program where you can use my money to fund your deals 100%. I even give you unlimited custom proof of funds for as many offers as you want. It's called the 100% funding system. Now, to learn more, just go to usejerryscash.com where you can register for an on-demand training. And on that training, I'll go into more detail about the program, including how to apply and how to get your funding fees waived. So, if you want to annihilate your competition wholesaling by not wholesaling, and you want to use my money to do it, don't miss that training. Just go to usejerryscash.com to learn more. And like I said, if you want to learn more about how wholesaling is getting regulated, check out a video where I break down the recent regulations passed in the city of Philadelphia. Even if you don't wholesale in Philly, this video will show you what I believe will start happening everywhere. So watch that now, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. With over 700 videos, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things flipping, and I'll see you on the next video. Wow, that's a cool one.